$5. But I want you to know I just did that so that all you guys can show up. Randy got it. He's the board chair. He covers all day. Right. All right. Well, my name is Anika Carter Young, and I am the executive director, and I have the proud honor of serving this community as its economic development director here in the greatest city in Georgia. If you've ever done a tour with me, if you've ever seen me do a tour, I tell everybody who will listen and who will not listen that Manchester, Georgia is the best city in Georgia. Don't y'all agree with me? Some of y'all just left church. You know that at night. I really don't know. Listen, I am so excited about today. I'm going to try not to rap. I'm going to try not to sing. I'm going to try not to dance. I am excited because we see, it's the behind the scenes stuff. You don't see all the work. You don't see all the meetings. We make it look so flawless. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. We say little stuff. But this is a lot of man hours in the work. And just to get this far is so exciting. So I want you to sit back and listen. I got a couple housekeeping things I need to do, and then I'm going to turn it over to people who know way more than me. And I am so excited that they are here with us. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because you know I can be louder. Okay, so the first thing I would like to do is to recognize the board of directors for the Manchester Development Authority, because some people are new to our community and they really don't know them. Some people have been knowing Judy since 1909 when she first got here. So I want to start with Randy Neesmith. He is the president. You can stand up, Randy. Can we give him a round of applause? Y'all might not have known Randy do way more in our community than keep our tires plugged up. I mean, listen, since he's been our board chair, he has got an email. Do y'all know Randy? He didn't have no email. He has a cell phone. He just messed up and told me that. I'm going to bribe his wife for the phone number so I can call him directly all the time. But he is our board chair. He does an excellent job. He puts a lot of dedicated hours in. The next person I'll acknowledge is Joan, because she's the next past president that is here. Y'all know Joan Caldwell. Can we just give her a round of applause? Next, I almost should honor Johnny because Johnny really answered the phone when I can't find Judy and just give me such great wisdom. I really appreciate it. But we have to take Joan Judy Foster Pike. Can we just give her a round of applause? Next, I'm not sure if I've seen him. Did we see Atticus Baptist? I didn't see him. Okay. Look, Brancher. Banter. Okay. I have Danny Wadsworth. Next, I have Clint Carnell. And last but not least, she is really not here. It is Marty Mitchell. So when you see Marty, tell her thank you for all the service that they give. A couple of months ago, as you all know, one of the properties that the MDA owns is the meal. And so we started having conversations about what do we do with the meal? What do we do with the meal? We've had many conversations. Some of y'all have participated in them. We have had meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. And we did something funny one day in the meeting. I like wrote a grant for some money. And we kind of got it. And that kind of gave us so much hope. You know what it's like when you try to do something, it seems like you're not going away, and then all of a sudden it's like you just take off and you have this traction. And from there we got some more money and we got more support. And I'm gonna let my friend over here introduce the rest of the people who played a part in making all of this happen. But it was a group effort, and I think it is a beautiful thing when we work together to help make something better. So, without further ado, I am going to introduce Lamar Wakefield. I'll let her tell y'all about him. I might tell secrets or something.
I appreciate it. I started the company in 1980 called Wakefield Diesel. We merged with Nelson 4 years ago this January, so I went from 75 people in 5 offices in the south with 800 people and 23 offices around the country. So great platform for us. I've had a farm here for 22 years. And so I'm really interested in what happens in Manchester because I've been here for a long time. And
Can you hold your mic up so we can hear you?
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I've had a farm here for 22 years, so it's been a great thing for my family, and we've enjoyed Manchester, Georgia. We want to make it something special. Just as a background, before I let Alfred make some announcements, and then we'll get into the presentation. We're placemakers. We did the battery for the Braves. We did Avalon up in Alpharetta. We did Halcyon 400. We're doing really big projects for the Diamondbacks, the Titans, the Brewers. We're very qualified to assist Manchester, Georgia in creating a place here. We're doing it for Noonan, Georgia. We're doing it for Dallas. We're doing it for Duluth. We've done it in Lawrenceville. We've done it in Wilburn. And it's that there that everybody wants, and it can attract business. And it's about programming space. It's about creating opportunities. And I think we're going to have a great team to be able to do that. So to start off, I'm going to let Alfred Demlinger, who's a new friend of mine, kind of open this up for us.
Thank you, Lamar. We wanted to start with a prayer, and so Gary, if you could lead us real quick.
And folks, let's bow our heads. Father, thank you for most of all your son Jesus. Thank you for the blood that forgives us of our sins. And just ask your blessings on this meeting. We know that if we try to do this on our own, it's in vain. And we know there's folks watching over the city, and just help us all to realize that without you, this won't be successful. So we just honor you. Help us to honor you and give you glory in everything that we do. Thank you for these awesome people that are here this evening to help Manchester grow and to give opportunity to the community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Gary. I want to do a little review, and so many people said, "Hey, Alfred, who are you and where did you come from?" And so I want to give some thanks to Dale Mann, and I manage Dale's money. I'm an investment advisor. And for many years, he kept saying, "Alfred, move to Manchester, move to Manchester." And I love Manchester. My wife and I, Jolene, where she's in Grim Pierce, next to Scott, hometown. And so we never could figure out how to get to Manchester. And 8 years ago, we almost bought the radio station, and we lost it in a foreclosure bid by $2,000. Sorry. And so we didn't get it. So fate, destiny, timing, however it works out. So last year, Mr. Mann passed away, and his son came to me and said, "Remember, you said when Dad dies, you wanted to buy the house." And I'm like, "Okay." So I immediately became a Manchester landowner to honor the family. And then shortly thereafter, I got introduced to Jerry Lofton, who was right here, and it snowballed, and I started meeting a lot of people, which then led to my wife and I buying the radio station on the one that I lost 8 years ago. So we're sitting here in Manchester and saying, "Hey, what do we want to do? How can we help this community?" A community that I've fallen in love with, and I understand why people love it so much. Because when you walk the streets and you read the placards on the light and on the bricks, what a history that this city has. Well, the way fate has it, Jolene and I decided to leave Fayetteville, where we raised our children for 30 years. And so we're sitting here and saying, what can we do to help this community? And fortunately, I met Nika, and Nika said, "Let me tell you about some ideas that we have." And I find myself at the middle with Nika, and I brought a client of mine called New South Construction to the meeting, and they fell in love with the mill. And then they said, "Hey, if we only had one person to help us, this mill would work. And I'm like, who's that? And they said, Lamar Wakefield. I'm like, Lamar who? Oh, let me think about that for a moment. Sorry, Lamar. And so 15 minutes after the meeting, Newhouse calls me and they said, you won't believe this, but Lamar actually lives in Manchester. And I'm like, he does? And so Lamar Wakefield, it is truly my honor to have Lamar Wakefield with us because the history of success is just amazing. So about a week later, I find myself with Lamar Wakefield walking around the mill. And he fell in love and said, hey, I think I can help. And I asked Lamar, and you can ask him this, where have you been and why haven't you done this sooner? And I believe his answer was, nobody asked me. So now we're asking. And so shortly thereafter, we're with the Economic Board, and fortunately, very, very happy they agreed to support Lamar Wakefield in his initiative and his drive. So we launched. But when you launch, you gotta have support of government, and you gotta have support of private citizens and the business community. He can do all the work, but if the other parts don't work, it's going to fail. So Lamar asked me to talk specifically about some things we've been doing. So I'm very, very proud to say, David and Suzanne are right here. Can you raise your hand? They moved from Sonoy to Manchester, and they are opening up their coffee roasting operation in Manchester. So thank you very much. Give them applause. And we're also very pleased, Suzanne, for her career, books talent for the entertainment industry, and she's been very helpful, and we've booked 3 shows, or we have booked 2 and have a third. 3, right here in the theater, and that's been incredible. And the initiative that she has is to make Manchester an economic and entertainment city. And the talent that she brings, well, we had them from Nashville and Kentucky, I think. And the next show that we had, and David performed, which did a great job. What's the next show? Christmas show on piano right here. What date is that? 11th of December, and you get the tickets on Facebook. And I'm very happy, Lynn, and the theater has been very, very great. Lynn, where are you? Yes, ma'am.
The date has been changed on that children's show to the 18th.
Okay, so there's been a change.
December 18th.
Okay. And Jolene, my wife, Jolene, could you stand up, please? Put it on the spot. And so Jolene is assisting with marketing and Facebook of the theater. So that is fantastic. And so I'm very happy. Ron and Vanessa, where are you? Can you please stand? And let's give them a round of applause. So they have agreed, and they have already started the remodel of an estate gallery furniture store on Main Street. And that is fantastic. So thank you very much. And also right over here, Gary, could you please stand? He gave prayer. Come on in, y'all sit down. Y'all come on in, find a seat. And so very proud that Gary is remodeling the building here on Broad and Main, and he's putting in a 3-story furniture store similar to High Cotton in Woodbury. Thank you very much. So between that 21,000 square feet of furniture space marketed on the internet, we believe that is going to create traffic to Manchester. Now also I want to reference JT, can you please stand up? JT Beckham, everybody. So JT is going to open up, as long as we have council approval and things go, next month, right? He's opening up a rooftop observation bar on the top of the building on Broad and Main Street. Congratulations. Good. I'm thinking some eggs on the rooftop. Okay? So I'm also very excited. We have 2 different restaurant people that are in here that are looking to set up restaurants in this community. So, and so one couple is right here. If you could please stand, Mike and Kim. And Dan, you are right there. Could you please stand? So, if they open up, are you going to go eat? Yeah. Is there any doubt that you're going to go eat? No. Okay. Just want to make sure. Now, I'm also proud of Mike Patel. Mike, can you please stand up? Okay. So, if all the voting goes properly, Mike is going to open up a liquor store, and the first one in Manchester. And that would be fantastic because part of it is going to be a wine bar, is that correct? So that would be fantastic. So here's what we're trying to do. Be business leaders to help the city in collaboration with the government through Lamar's leadership. Okay? So that's what we got going on. I'm trying to think if I've missed any of the guests. Andrew would like to do an art gallery. Would you like an art gallery? There you go. And so all of the folks that I referenced actually do not live in Manchester except for David and Suzanne, but they plan on moving to Manchester, which is fantastic. Oh, Andrew already lives in Manchester. Also, Greg Barber moved here. He now lives in Manchester. Greg, raise your head. And so in the last week, you may have noticed 2 construction projects occurring. One is Dr. Thompson's building. And so I'm moving my office from Fayetteville to Dr. Thompson's building. And we also acquired a building on 2nd Street across from McDonald's. And we want to put in an executive suite for people that need high-speed internet, so they can go there and have a place to use it. And also, on 11/1, you might see these signs go up on the billboard, and we're doing social media to promote the I Love Manchester marketing campaign. To make everybody go, I love Manchester, and this is a great place to live. So we hired a photographer who took 1,200 photos of this city over the last several months, and they're getting ready to be posted on site. So the citizens in this community will love it and stay here and not find a reason to leave. That is our goal. So by promoting that self-awareness and the love, that's what will help this community for the long term. And that is our goal. Okay, so that is really what I have in my mind. Sarah Faulkner, by the way, is over here. Sarah, can you say hi? So Sarah, y'all know Sarah? So Sarah is in Fayetteville and Manchester, and she's in my office in Fayetteville, and she's excited about me coming to Manchester and staying here. Absolutely. Okay, that is it, and later we're going to have questions. But this is all about Lamar and his vision, and that is great. Oh, by the way, Brian Stone. Brian, I see, raise your hand. Brian just moved here also, and he moved, had multiple homes, but recently Lake Sinclair, and he lives in Manchester now. So we have people moving here because they want to be a part of what we got going on. So, and Greg Clifton, ex-mayor of Fayetteville. Greg, thank you for coming down today. There you go.
Wow. And it's not all about me, I can promise you that. By the way, Jeremy Hall's up in the booth up here. He's our director of planning, runs the planning studio for the Southeast, and Kerry Gibson here is a senior planner with our company. They've been doing a lot of the work. So, hey, look, we can go to Alpharetta, Georgia, and do Avalon, and why is that? That demographic is ridiculous. In fact, when we started that project in 2012, it was a failed project on Prospect Park, which was Wells Fargo ended up having it, went back out on the street. North American won the bid, and our Whole Foods was our first tenant. And so when you do radius checks for different soft good retailers, fashion and so forth, it's 3 and 5 miles, that's what they're gonna look at. Whole Foods wants a 10 mile, and they know that women will drive 10 miles to go to Whole Foods. And that's the reason they want a 10 mile radius, they know it, okay? So we did that 10 mile radius in 2012, and that 20-mile circle was the wealthiest 20-mile circle in the United States. Do y'all believe that? I'm just telling you, it's a fact. It's not the wealthiest 3-mile circle or 5-mile circle, that would be West Palm or Beverly Hills or whatever, but the 10-mile circle was the wealthiest in the country. So we had our pick of tenants. We did 118 merchandising plans in phase 1, which meant everybody wanted to be there. We're trying to put people in the right spot. It's not leasing space anymore. It's merchandising. What I mean by that is placing tenants. If you walk through Avalon today, you would say, maybe not cognitively, say you understand it or figured it out, but cosmetics is in one place. Women's fashion's over here. Men's fashion's over here. Furniture's out there. There's a reason for it. You're increasing dwell time by promoting cross-shopping. That's the whole idea of merchandising space. So what do we do here in Manchester? Since I've been here for a long time and I care about it, it reminds me of Dan and Kathy bringing me, done a lot of work for Dan over the years. Wants me to do Pinewood Forest, which is now called Trilla. I don't know if anybody's been there to look at it or not. But this is the pasture in Fayette County, and school systems are temperate at best right there in that location. If you go look at it, it's remarkable, okay? It's remarkable because we had great buy-in from corporate citizens who wanted to be in this street, this boulevard. People do call him back. And so we did get Piedmont Wellness, which was a big thing. Otherwise, beyond that, we don't have any real lead tenants there. We don't have a cinema. We had one, it was unfinanceable. But all that said, it's such a cool space and environment, and the street energy is so good that people want to move there, and they have. There's not a house for sale there. It's remarkable. So how do we do that here in Manchester? And we're different from Newnan, by the way, because that demographic is pretty dang good too. When I was a kid, I used to go to Springberry's when it was downtown, and there was a sign when you get to the that said most millionaires per capita of any city in America. Do you remember that? It was incredible. I was 10 years old. It was amazing. So here we are in a Callaway Mill town. Mickey's done a great job looking at what grants we're available for, and we're eligible for a lot of grants. Okay, so we'll save that for a later discussion, but I'm talking about grants up to $750,000 that help us do a trail system, help us reinvigorate downtown streetscape, that sort of thing. So Jeremy's going to turn it. I'm going to just go through some things here and what we've been doing. So by the way, tonight we're not coming in here with a plan. We'll come to you next month with a plan. We want to hear what everybody wants. We've got a bunch of imagery out here. At the end of the night, we got some stickers, red and green. I want you to put red on what you don't like and green on what you like. Okay, we'll pull all that information together to make sure that we're following what the community wants. We call it building community before we build a community. We want to know what you guys think and what you think is best for the city. So that's that first line I just went through there, building community before we build a community. Once this happens, we'll have a little charrette with the city team, Alfred and his group, and we'll run through some ideas, and talk about whether or not our new townhomes appropriate for the Millside. Someone on that, does that make any sense? I think it probably does. What else can we do there? Can we renovate this for the best event center in the county area? Can we do that? Can we, create a lawn with Tivoli lights and have movie nights once a week? Can we have, farm festivals, seasonal stuff that happens, music? And can we do all this stuff? Yes, we can do it. Can we do it in collaboration with this facility? Absolutely. So we compiled the responses, as I said, we developed a master plan, several reviews, and we finalized the master plan. So, like in Noonan, we finished our master plan. We actually did a social media blitz where we asked 15 questions and get everybody's response. And you might be surprised, I was, 4,700 people responded. People care. Everybody wants to, they're there, they want to walk to it if they can. So, let's go to the next one, Jeremy. So here we are. Obviously, there's the mill site, and it's a pretty large piece of property, which includes some other land that the city owns around here. We've got a new commercial partner there today, Dollar General. Should have called me before that. Anyway, so I remember the mill forever. I remember when it caught on fire, and sometimes as we look at all this, sometimes it's better. Things happen for a reason, right? And somebody else is in control of our daily lives. So what do we have left there that's really good? Maybe that mill was too big. It was too big to really try to figure out what to do with it. I mean, from a life safety perspective, just putting a fire extinguisher system in there with the way that thing was built, I couldn't have made it work for you guys. So now we have a remnant of that I think makes a great space for an event center. I know that my daughter got married a year ago this month. She got married at Perimeter Chapel, which we designed, and her reception was in a barn, okay? It's just, I mean, people today, these kids today, they want to be in something that feels authentic, and this feels really authentic. So what do we do with all this? I mean, how do we redevelop this site? How do we connect it? And there's several ways, in our opinion, to do that, both from a pedestrian perspective, maybe a golf cart perspective, a bicycle perspective, and obviously a vehicular perspective. And then how do we tie that into downtown to make both of these things play off one another? And can we end up with a really cool loop that goes all the way around the site? Can we have our own loop? And then they call it the link. And it's about, I can't remember, Jeremy, it's several miles long. It's bigger than this, but it's cool. Now, I grew up in Cabbagetown in Atlanta, and I played in Grant Park, and I saw the Bell Run. And there's no way that land sold for $4 million an acre today, but it is. Everybody wants a trail system, everybody wants a place to get on. We need to do that. We need to create that here. And it can just be one loop, it may be just 2 miles, but it's a nice walk, right? So, the event space we talked about, the existing pond is beautiful, we can do something with that. And then the strong connectivity that I spoke about between downtown and this mill site. So far, here's what we've heard from our few meetings. Renovate the existing building into an event center. Create a central gathering area with covered band shell for community events, farmers markets, movie nights, food trucks. That's going to be somewhere in here. And by the way, it can be too big. Okay, you just got to be really careful. The one in Suwanee, Georgia, it's too big. You go look at it. I mean, they fill it up 3 times a year. The rest of the time, it's just a vast 6-acre park. You go to the one in Avalon, it's 115 by 200, and it's incredible. We had, catch this, I mean, programming is the deal here, and this will fall on the development authority and on the city to make sure programming happens from a social media perspective. So in 2019, pre-COVID, we had 525 programmed events in Avalon. 525. That's over 2 a day at times. We had 60,000 people at the Christmas tree lighting. We had 5,500 for the Kentucky Derby Party, which started at 10. By the time they ran the race, preacher, it was not a good place to be. I mean, all these big hats and dresses, nobody even watched it. Nobody even cared about it. I mean, it was just fantastic. So, this lawn, this thing, Tivoli lights, and all the stuff that we need to think about, and how it gets programmed is really critical to get people to come and they will. If we make it to people, just like Trellis, they'll come to it. Number 3, residential townhomes, live, work areas, possibly. We've got to get a little bit more retail here, space for retail. Whether it's this building being converted to a restaurant, or do we build some live, work stuff with restaurants below? We can talk through that. My point is this, and I don't want to, hope nobody in the room gets offended. If Woodbury can do what they're doing right now, for heaven's sakes, I mean, we're 5 times as big as Woodbury. Where they got Blackbird Cafe, a really new pizzeria, the coffee shop on the corner, it's all just, it's good for them, but we deserve it, sorry. Anyway. Create a program park space around this. I'll show you some imagery of what this stuff can look like. And then this connection right here is blocked off right now, as you guys know, it goes under the railroad track, that road's closed. It's not wide enough to have automobiles and a sidewalk. It's not, it's a very tight space, so we think, we can talk about it, you guys may say, I don't want to do that, but we think we can make trail system through here that's primarily, for golf carts and for, pedestrians and for bicycles. And so we also need to consider, creating some other parking downtown. I don't know exactly, I don't know how many owners are in here, but there's some places that we can park in, and there's some other places we can figure out if we can get our hands on some of this stuff. How do we park that supplements this downtown? We really kind of want to park behind the building, create these cool paseos that go through, to get to the main street. So we talk about that as number 6 was one of our parking options as well. Potential to increase sidewalk width by reducing angle parking. Now, that's the reason we're talking to everybody. We can show you how if we go to parallel parking, we make that sidewalk 20 feet wide instead of 12 feet wide, okay? That's good for outdoor eating, it's good for outdoor bazaar, it's good for a lot of art shows on the sidewalk. But at the same time, I don't want to get into the retailers, say, well, you're taking my parking away. So we might not be able to do it everywhere, but we might do it in some places. We also have all those historic bricks, and we're going to be real careful and how those are placed and how those are honored. So we'll have to talk about there. And then, just distinctive gateway.